It's funny, sometimes the smallest, most specific rules from the ancient world can hide the absolute biggest ideas. Today, we're diving into this fascinating agricultural law that, on the surface, seems incredibly particular. But it actually opens up this profound debate about what really matters. Is it the quality of our actions or the attitude we have behind them?
So let's just get right to the heart of the puzzle. Imagine you have to bring an offering of grain. Does it really matter if it's from the field right next door or one 100 miles away, as long as the grain itself is good? Well, according to this ancient law, yeah, it matters a lot. And the reasons why, they reveal two completely different and really compelling ways of looking at the world.
Okay, so to really get what's going on here, we have to set the scene. We're heading back in time to ancient Jerusalem, to a ritual that was right at the center of the agricultural year, the Omer offering.
The Omer. This was a huge deal. It was an offering from the very first cuts of the barley harvest, and it was brought straight to the temple in Jerusalem. This was like the official starting gun for the entire grain harvest season, a massive moment of gratitude and celebration. And of course, it had to be done just right.
And this is where it gets interesting. It's in the tiny details of how it was done that we find our mystery. A very, very specific rule about, of all things, geography.
The source text, the Mishnah, is crystal clear on this. It says the main obligation, the mitzvah, was to bring the barley from fields that were physically close to Jerusalem. Now, sure, the law allowed for exceptions if the nearby fields weren't ready, but the ideal, the default setting, get it from nearby.
And boom, we're right back at our big question. Why this focus on location? What's so special about the barley growing just outside the city walls compared to barley from anywhere else? Well, the ancient rabbis actually offered two totally distinct possibilities.
The first reason is just incredibly practical. It's all about making sure you have the absolute best quality for a sacred offering. You can think of it as like the original farm-to-temple principle.
So the rabbis, they dig into the biblical text, and they point to this one specific Hebrew word, carmel. This term describes the perfect state for the grain offering. It doesn't just mean grain, it means fresh, tender, really high-quality grain. And that, right there, explains the logic perfectly. I mean, if the barley had to travel for days and days on the road, it would dry out, it would get hard, and it would lose that essential caramel quality. So bringing it from a nearby field was just a simple logistical move to make sure the offering was absolutely perfect.
You see, this whole first explanation, it's all about the object. The goal is maximum quality, the big concern is spoilage. And the principle underneath it all is that when you're giving something sacred, you give the absolute best version of it. Simple, practical, and really powerful.
But then, the rabbis offer a completely different line of thinking. It's one that has pretty much nothing to do with the grain itself and everything to do with the person bringing it.
This is built on a core spiritual concept, ein ma'aviren ala mitzvot, which basically means you don't pass over an opportunity to do a good deed. When the chance comes up, you act. You act right away.
So, according to this logic, proximity isn't about freshness, it's about immediacy. It means as soon as you leave Jerusalem and find the first field of ripe barley, that's the one you use. You don't walk past it and say, I bet the barley in the next valley over is a little bit better. Nope. You seize the very first chance you get. I mean, just notice the total shift in focus here. The goal is now immediate action. The concern isn't spoilage, it's procrastination or, spiritual laziness. The principle isn't about the quality of the barley, but the quality of your enthusiasm, your eagerness to do the right thing. So this all builds to this really fascinating showdown. We have two powerful reasons for the exact same rule, and they kind of pull in opposite directions. It reveals this fundamental tension in what it means to be devoted to something.
This comparison just lays it all out, doesn't it? The freshness argument is all about the object, the grain. It values the end result, getting a perfect offering. It's a very practical view. But the eagerness argument, that's all about the subject, the person. It values the process, acting with zeal and immediacy. It's a spiritual view. One says, get the best thing, and the other says, be the best you.
And you can see how this ancient debate is just timeless. Is it better to wait and perfect your contribution or to act with immediate passion, even if the result isn't 100% flawless? It really boils down to this. Is devotion measured by the perfection of the gift or by the passion of the giver?
So, what do we take away from all this? Well, for one, even the most obscure-sounding rules can have some really deep logic hiding inside them. Second, there's this healthy and maybe necessary tension between the quality of what we do and the intention we do it with. And finally, the practical and the spiritual, They're not separate worlds at all, they're deeply connected.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This whole exploration came from just one tiny detail, bring it from nearby. It really makes you wonder if we look closely at the small rules we live by, in our work, our families, our own personal ethics, what deeper values and what other fascinating contradictions might we find hiding in plain sight?